I just said, you know what? I love myself. I can afford it. I'm paying for indoor parking. You're not thinking, what can't I buy? But you're thinking, what can I buy? I've got $400 for my groceries this month. What can I buy at the grocery store? Always, like, I would always know that the hydro bill was coming. It would always surprise me and I'd always be like, ouch. Is this lifestyle creep as I sip from my $50 water bottle? Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another monthly money video. This one is for the month of March and I just feel so funny right now. I'm gonna post a picture on the screen of what my filming setup looks like. I literally feel like I'm on some kind of talk show or something with this white background, but I just moved. This is what we're working with and that's that. Yeah, it's just not my usual kind of aesthetic setup that I like to do for the monthly monies. We don't have a coffee, we don't have a tea. We've just got my laptop, my planner, and my phone in case we need a calculator. So welcome back to another monthly money video. The first thing that I wanted to say in this video is better late than never. Better late than never, because we are already well into March by the time I'm filming this, by the time you're watching this, and I almost didn't do it, you guys. I almost didn't do this video because I was like, I've already done my cash envelopes. We're so late into March, I'll just wait until next month. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized, one, these videos are so important, I think, just for me, myself, in holding myself accountable. We can literally go back over a year and see my journey with personal finance. So I love filming them. I love holding myself accountable this way, even though not every month is perfect, even though we have highs and lows and make mistakes, they hold me accountable. This is like number 2.5, but I think they hold some of you guys accountable as well, which is amazing. Or was that reason number 1.5? I'm very tired. But the other reason is because I want to be able to set a good example with these videos, and better late than never is the example that I want to set. Sometimes, life gets in the way. You move, you start a new job, something happens in your family, whatever it may be, and you just think, well, I'm already late to figuring out my budget. I'll just wait until next month. But you're so much better off doing it later, still checking in with yourself, still doing that action, because one, it maintains the habit, and two, even if we're a week into March already, there's still 3 other weeks in this month for us to work with. So better late than never, that is the message I wanted to start off this video with. I'm gonna go plug in my camera. I forgot to do that. If this is the first video of mine that you're watching and you're like, who is this girl? What is her deal? Hello, my name is Zoe. I'm 26 and I live in Montreal. I just moved, hence the chaos, hence, the tiredness. Moving is hard. I don't know how people do it so frequently and make it look so easy. It's really been taking a toll on me. Anyways, this monthly money video is going to be so exciting because it's going to be a little bit different. This month, we are going to be breaking down my new budget and my new expenses. This is actually the perfect time to do it because in all of my previous monthly money videos, we really focus on my day-to-day spending. What did I spend on credit? What did I spend on cash? We focus on things like shopping and dining out. And in the past, there's been a really, really big focus on me controlling my spending less on dining out, spending less on clothes from Zara that don't fit me, that kind of thing. And I really love that format, and that's gonna be the same format kind of going forward, where we stuff the cash envelopes, we talk about all of those things, but I never spent much time on my fixed expenses like my rent, my car payments, all of that kind of stuff. I would always just put a screenshot up on the screen, say these are my fixed expenses, and move on. And that's because every single month we don't need to go through my fixed expenses. It's just not necessary, it becomes redundant. But this month, all of those fixed expenses are changing. They're getting a complete makeover. So this is a perfect chance to sit down and talk about all of those new numbers with you all. And then moving forward, we'll go back to that typical format where we do the cash envelopes and we do everything like that. So we're not gonna be doing cash envelopes in this video. If you missed it, I already did it in a vlog at the beginning of the month. So I actually did my cash envelopes on time, which was amazing. And I included that in a vlog. I will link it down below in case you haven't seen it yet. But next month, we'll be all back to business as usual over here. And hopefully we'll have a bit more of an exciting background. So I'm gonna open up my computer because I took some notes about what I wanted to talk about this month. As usual, it wouldn't be a video from me if we didn't start by talking about feelings, because feelings are so tied towards money. So how did I feel about money in February? How am I feeling looking forward to March? I mentioned this a little bit in the vlog where I did the cash envelopes, but February felt really, really good with money. I just felt so secure having my cash envelopes with me on vacation. It was the first time that I ever really budgeted for a vacation, and I felt so liberated. I felt so at peace. And honestly, you guys, every single month that goes forward that I'm sticking to this cash envelopes method, that I'm really working on my budget, my financial anxiety gets smaller and smaller and smaller. I still have these moments, like especially with moving, sometimes I would look at the price of something, or we'd be talking about a certain something and it would be like, oh my God, that's so expensive. And I would like freak out, and I would go back to my old kind of financial anxiety tendencies where, you know, that feeling where it like grips your chest. But the good news is that those didn't last very long. Incidents in the past that might have affected me for a day or even multiple days affected me for an hour tops, which is huge progress. And I'm really, really proud of that. And I know a lot of you struggle with your financial anxiety as well. And I want the same feeling for you guys. I want that guilt-free feeling. I want that liberation for all of you. And for me, what's done it is the cash envelopes. Shout out to Raisa and the line for sending me that beautiful gift back in October. That has completely changed my life. The next thing I wanted to say that I've been thinking about a lot is kind of in the realm of manifestation is the abundance mindset. And I really feel that the abundance mindset is linked to the cash envelopes, because rather than always calculating and always thinking, I can buy this, I can't buy that, you've got the cash in front of you, which feels very abundant in and of itself. And you're not thinking, what can't I buy? But you're thinking, what can I buy? I've got $400 for my groceries this month. What can I buy at the grocery store? An example that is very bougie is I really like the Elmhurst milks. They're like $7 here in Montreal, really, really expensive. But I've got $400. I can make it work. If I take one thing out of my grocery budget that I'm not loving, I can add in that Elmhurst milk, and so I can have whatever it is I want as long as it fits in my budget. So shifting your thinking from what can't I afford to what can I afford has made a huge difference. And I also feel like it's helped me bring in more money. We're gonna talk about my earnings later, but I had a spectacular month in February, unbelievable. And I truly feel like those opportunities and that income is coming to me because of shifting my mind to that abundance mindset. So you can take that or leave it. Maybe we can talk more about that. Let me know in the comments if that is of interest for you. But yeah, it's very, very positive feelings. It feels really, really good when I think back to months where I would sit down to film these videos and want to cry. I am so grateful, and I want to cry with joy. Alrighty, let's get into the good stuff now. Let's talk about my new budget breakdown. So I just moved in with my boyfriend, which means that my rent has gone way down. It hasn't gone down because he's not charging me rent. He basically owns the condo that we both live in now, so I'm not paying rent to a landlord, I'm paying it to him. And we figured out a number that works for both of us. I know there's a lot of kind of opinions and ideas on the ways that couples should split their bills. Should it be 50-50? Should it be based on who makes more? I'm not gonna get into all of that today. Also, I know there's opinions on whether you should or shouldn't be paying someone's mortgage. For us, I'm technically not paying his mortgage. I'm paying towards interest and condo fees. That's just what felt fair to me, and it's what felt fair to him as well. So we figured that out between us. I think every couple is different, and when you move in with a partner, you want to have that discussion on what feels fair to both of you. I can't sit here and recommend one way or another. Maybe one day we'll get JS on camera and we'll talk about that. So my new rent is $700 a month Canadian, which is very, very good. That is the pro of living with someone, and it was always something that kind of annoyed me in the past, because I was like, you people who live with your significant other, you get to save so much money on rent, and here I am saving so much money on rent. Now, I wasn't planning on getting a parking spot at the new place. I was like, I'm gonna go without parking, lifestyle creep, get away from me. I was already paying for indoor parking at my old spot, but anyways, a series of unfortunate events. Basically, my car got hit while it was parked on the street by a snowplow. You have to move your car here in Montreal. If you're from Montreal, you know, you have to move your car like every other day because of garbage, snow removal. Basically, I would have to move my car almost every single day. It was a pain in the butt. I'd have to search for parking every day, sometimes park really far from the place. And I just said, you know what? I love myself. I can afford it. I'm paying for indoor parking, and it was the best decision I ever made. For me, the whole point of having a car is convenience. It's being able to drive to get your groceries and not have to haul them with you. It's being able to put my dog in the car and drive home to see my parents in Ottawa, and that convenience kind of goes out the window when I have to walk far to a parking spot. So that's a luxury that for me just comes hand in hand with already having a car. So I paid it, and that is $175 a month. That is not going to my boyfriend, that is going to someone else who owns the parking spot, and I'm renting it from them. He has his own parking spot that kind of he bought with the condo, and I'm renting from someone else. So my total personal rent is $875, $700 to my boyfriend for rent, $175 to the guy for parking. The guy. So if we compare this to my old rent, which was $1350 for rent and $160 for parking, adding up to a total of $1310, I'm saving about $635 a month, which is pretty good. I'm happy about it. Now, I can't necessarily take that money and be running to the bank, be putting it in my TFSA, be going shopping, because there's a new expense in town, which is my office. So when JS and I talked about moving in together, I knew that I needed a place that was my own to be able to film videos, to be able to work kind of in peace. I really value my alone time. I need it to recharge, and given what I do for work, I can't be in an apartment where someone else is on the phone and it disturbs my filming and everything like that. And given what he does for work, he can't be on the phone on an important meeting and I'm vlogging in the background. So I decided to get an office. I found the perfect place, and the rent for that is $750 Canadian. And that includes Wi-Fi, that includes heating, that includes everything. So when you add up my personal expenses with my new business expense, which is an office, we get $1,625 as my monthly, I don't want to say living because I don't live in the office, but my sort of monthly fixed expenses. And this is higher than it was before, which is a little counterintuitive, because you would think, and what I thought was, well, when I move in with my partner, it's going to be to save money. Why would I move if I'm not saving money? If I didn't get parking, I would be saving money. If the rent of the office was a little bit lower, I would be saving money. But at the end of the day, the way I have to look at it is the office is not actually a personal expense. So my personal expenses have gone down, but my business expenses have gone up. I see having an office space as an investment in my YouTube channel, as well as my contracts and my freelancing career, because it's important to have a space to just be creative and be calm and work in peace. So it's an investment in that. It's for myself, and I think it's pretty cool. Although I'm not an official incorporated corporation, the office is still entirely a business expense. Because I'm a self-employed person, the office is a business expense. And actually, I forgot to do this. Let me do a disclaimer. This is not financial advice, and this is not tax advice. Sometimes I get people in the comments saying, you're wrong about this, you're wrong about that. Okay, cool. Don't take what I'm saying and go to your accountant. But the office is a business expense, which means that there's a tax benefit to it. So while my rent is paid from my income after taxes, the office rent is paid from my income before taxes, which is pretty cool. So what does this mean for me in terms of like the way I think about finances? I don't see myself having a bigger monthly expense, because I really separate the two buckets of income. The apartment rent and the parking is coming from one bucket of income, and the office rent is coming from another bucket. They are so separate in my mind. They're also separate in terms of the accounts. So I feel very at peace with this decision. The other thing is, now I've moved into a more all-inclusive kind of billing, because like I said, the internet and the hydro is included here. I'm now sharing internet and hydro with my boyfriend, and we just kind of factored that into the rent that I pay as well. So there's no more hidden costs. Like, what I see is what I pay. Compare that to my old apartment. I was paying $1350 a month, and then every 2 months I would get a hydro bill, which is electric, hot water, etc. And those a couple times a year would be so expensive. Actually, Exhibit A, my last hydro bill was $300. Because of the loft, it was like really high ceilings. It was so expensive to heat. And even though I would keep my heat really, really low, I would keep it almost uncomfortably cold, I would always get these really high hydro bills. So when you factor in hydro and everything like that, I'm pretty much even at the like, you know, total cost. And it's nice that there's not gonna be any more surprises anymore. I would always know that the hydro bill was coming. It would always surprise me and I'd always be like, ouch. So next up, let's talk about lifestyle creep. And I wanted to ask the question, is this lifestyle creep? Is this lifestyle creep as I sip from my $50 water bottle? Something I'm working very, very actively on is all of the goals that I set at the beginning of the year, making sure that my actions every month tie back to those goals so that next year when I reflect, I can actually sit there and say, hey, I accomplished these things. So is increasing my monthly costs, is getting an office, is it lifestyle creep? Personally, I don't think so, because the office is pretty much necessary to do my job. Yes, I could coordinate and make it work with my boyfriend, but it wouldn't really be comfortable and it wouldn't allow me to do my job and thrive. I feel like it would pretty much allow me to do the bare minimum. So I don't see this as being lifestyle creep. I got a pretty modest office. It was one of the cheapest offices you could find. I think lifestyle creep would be, let's say I'm making big bucks from YouTube and I go and I get, you know, this really, I don't know, new, modern, expensive office. That could be lifestyle creep. I do think though it's hard to kind of talk about lifestyle creep in relation to business expenses because it's just different. Like when you look at all businesses out there, stores, etc., they all need space, they all need nice space to do what they do. I think where lifestyle creep could come in is now that my personal expenses are lower, because like I said, I keep them very separate in my mind. It could be easy for certain things like, I don't know, let's say I could start going to get my nails done because my rent is lower now. Let's say I'm getting close to paying off my car, or maybe it's time for a new car. That's what I see lifestyle creep as. I once had someone in the comments say, oh, you know, I got a salary increase and now I can finally afford to do my dream and take ballet classes. Is that lifestyle creep? I don't think that's lifestyle creep at all. That is something that you're passionate about. That is something that's going to enhance your life. I really see lifestyle creep as being these inflated material decisions that in the end undo any of that salary increase that you got. That's how I see lifestyle creep. So I don't see this decision of getting an office, of moving in as being lifestyle creep, but I do think it kind of brings up the idea that lifestyle creep isn't really black and white. It's kind of person to person variant. One area though where I do feel a twinge of lifestyle creep coming up is in the workouts area, which is really weird. I'm on like a really big wellness kick right now and it's been so fun. It's been like 2 weeks. And suddenly I'm like, do I need to get a personal trainer? I need to up my results. Maybe I should get a personal trainer. Oh, maybe I should sign up for, you know, Reformer Pilates. There's a Pilates studio in the building with my office in it. And I'm like, oh, I could go from my office straight to Pilates. It's like, Zoey, chill. There's a gym in the building that I live in and I work part-time at a gym and get free classes. So for me, if I suddenly started splurging on these Pilates classes and this personal trainer, I think that would be lifestyle creep for me. And I don't think it's appropriate at this time in my life. Maybe down the road, sure. But right now, that is something that I'm like, don't let your mind go there. To me, that's kind of the looming lifestyle creep. The next thing I want to talk about is, what does getting 1 month ahead look like now? Once again, tying it back to my annual goals, one of my goals this year was to get and stay 1 month ahead. So before I had this 15-10 to get ahead for, and it was really hard to do. I always struggled with it, especially last year when I wasn't earning very much. This year it was getting a little bit easier, as so far every month this year my income has gone up. I actually think for March my income's gonna go back down because February was just like a crazy good month. That's another story. But I no longer have such a big amount to get 1 month ahead for, which is a huge relief. So remember how I said that my home rent and my office rent come from 2 different buckets? The same is going to be true for getting 1 month ahead. I'm going to use my, let's call it my after-tax money, to get 1 month ahead and put that money into the savings account called 1 month ahead. It's literally in my online banking. And the amount that needs to go in there is $875 every single month. What's really cool is that my part-time job paychecks should cover almost half of that. So almost half of my 1 month ahead savings comes from a job that to me literally feels like passive income because I have so much fun and I love going in there. So that part-time job should cover about half my rent. The rest of it will come from my after-tax earnings, either from YouTube or from my freelance work, and that will go into that account. Everything that I make from YouTube, I keep very, very separate from the rest of my income. YouTube to me has always felt like a side hustle and a passion project. So I never felt like that money was like mine. I always felt like I had to keep it separate and keep it special. And while now it is more of my full-time job and I do use that money to pay my rent, I still keep a lot of it aside and special, or at least I always filter it through this one account to make sure that the money that comes from YouTube is always kept separate. My plan right now is to use that money to pay the office rent, but it could come straight from, let's say, a copywriting paycheck as well. So I'm not gonna keep a specific savings account for the office because I do always keep that kind of rolling flow of income coming through that one account, and that's where I'm gonna take my office rent every single month from. So I don't feel a lot of worry about getting 1 month ahead because I always have more than $750 in that account. So suddenly my goal of getting 1 month ahead is looking a lot easier. And I'm very grateful for that. It's really cool. Now let's move into what I spent in February. Since we're already talking about fixed expenses, I figured we could talk a little bit about my car payment. My car payment comes out twice a month and is $104 Canadian. So $210 about every month on my car payment, and that goes to paying off the loan that I have with the bank for the car that I bought last year, a year and a half ago. I had to pay off the final hydro bill because I moved out, I closed my hydro account, and that was that big $300 bill, which I paid the other day and hurt very, very much. And I had my final internet bill because now my internet is included as well. So now let's take a look at my budget tracker. I did a full walkthrough of this in my last video, and let's take a look at how much I spent. In the groceries category, I budgeted $400 and I only ended up spending $266. I was able to save quite a bit of money this month on groceries or last month I should say, because I had a partnership with HelloFresh. Normally I was ordering 1 to 2 boxes of HelloFresh per month. So to have that kind of subsidized by a sponsored video was absolutely insane. So I did save some money there. However, this number might be a little bit skewed because some of it was in US dollars and I didn't really make the conversion. So let's just round up and say I spent $300 on groceries in February. The home category, this was a big one. What with the move and everything, I had budgeted $100. Obviously I was gonna go over that. I don't know what I was thinking. And I spent $217. Treat yourself, I did very well on. I really restrained myself a lot while I was in Florida. I spent 2 weeks out of the 4 of February in Florida, and I only spent $44. That was in US though. For my dog, this was a very expensive month for Maggie. Ended up spending $438 on Maggie this month. Coffee was right on the money. I budgeted $100, very high just because of vacation, and I spent exactly that. That's the power of cash envelopes. Once it's done, it's done. Dining out was very high as well. I budgeted $200 and I ended up spending $288. If you guys watch my vlogs, you saw the story time where I went to this restaurant called Pura Vida, got completely slapped in the face, wasn't allowed to pay cash, and ended up spending way more than I anticipated. The amount that I went over is pretty much the exact bill that I had at Pura Vida. So that $88, yeah, that was the bill there. So that's where I went over. Going back to what I said at the beginning of the video about like beating myself up and stuff, when that happened, I was so mad for about 10 minutes. I was like boiling inside. I was upset. I felt like I wanted to cry. I took some deep breaths. I said, count to 10 and get over it. And I really got over it. And now I can sit here and laugh about it, which is pretty cool. I spent $51 on business expenses. I had to order some tech stuff for my computer to Florida because I forgot it and I needed it to keep working and edit videos. Spent nothing on transportation. Spent nothing on personal care. $73 on gifts. I had budgeted 0, ended up spending 73. I bought a gift for JS's mom because she was hosting us, and I bought JS a little Valentine's Day gift. You guys saw our Barnes & Noble book swap. Didn't spend anything on skiing, didn't go to therapy this month. Healthcare, didn't do anything. Spent $115 on gas, which was $15 more than I budgeted. Spent $8 on parking, and I spent $53 on workouts. Going back to that lifestyle creep, I actually think it's from my time in Florida that I've got this like workout itch, because we were trying all different kinds of classes. That $53 was spent on one Barry's Bootcamp class, and then we went back on a ClassPass trial and I got that for free, got a solid core class for free, got a few classes for free because of the ClassPass trial. So that was insane. So my total budgeted spending for the month was $13.10, and my actual spending was $16.56, $1,656, which is $350 over budget. Not bad. For me, not bad. The thing that I also want to say that I'm really proud of is when I looked at my American Express bill, that credit card, I always have a bill of at least $1,000 or more. And that bill was about $850, which is comprised of some of this stuff. Actually, well, not all of it, but some of this was cash. A little bit of it went on my American Express, and I looked at the bill and it was the lowest bill that I'd ever had. And I was just like, good job, Zoe. I'm not gonna run through each and every purchase in this video because it's already getting quite long. We'll go back to that next month. I'm sorry for the people who love when I go through everything. But there really wasn't anything too exciting. This is actually my second time filming this video. The first one was really bad, so I'm redoing it. But the first one, I went through it and there was really nothing that exciting. There's really nothing notable. The only thing was that stupid bill from Pura Vida. Side note, after that, I saw this meme of like Miami Dude starter pack and Pura Vida was on it, and I was like, this kind of makes more sense now. Let's talk quickly about what I earned. Like I just said, this is my second time filming this video, and the first time I did all the calculations kind of live on camera. And when I saw the total amount of how much I earned, I genuinely thought there was a mistake. I had never earned this much money in my life, like never. And I was just shocked and grateful, and I almost started crying. Okay, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. I'm telling you guys, I didn't look at my accounts all month, and I don't know. I'm gonna have to like do a deep dive because I'm kind of having trouble believing this, and in a good way, because this has only ever happened to me. This shocked feeling has only ever happened to me in like a negative way, which like leads to me feeling like very sad and like wanting to cry. Right now, I'm just kind of in shock because I didn't look at my bank account all month. But let's just go through it line by line. At the spinning studio, I expected to make $400. I made $408. That is the only income of mine that has the tax taken out. Everything else is self-employed income where I have to take the tax out, okay? So that's after tax. Everything now I'm about to say is before tax. I live in Montreal, taxes are high. Freelance copywriting, I expected about 1,000, ended up making 1,400, which was very good. I did a lot of work on my copywriting contract. YouTube AdSense, I was anticipating about 2,500 and it ended up being 2,528. YouTube AdSense works in that I get paid in February for the ads that were shown on my channel in January. So in January, I had this video that got a bunch of views. So that obviously did very, very well with AdSense. I do foresee this number, actually, I know this number is going down next month, which is okay. Whenever I get these kind of boosted AdSense months, I'm just so grateful. Any income I make from YouTube, well, any income I make period, but anything from YouTube, I'm just like, oh my God, how is this my life? Because it's so fun. It's something I've been passionate about since I was a teenager. Like, I just love YouTube so much. So AdSense and sponsored income, it just blows my mind. YouTube sponsorship, I was anticipating 2,400, and this is where I was like, is there a mistake? But I looked back and I know where it came from now. I ended up making $5,100 in YouTube sponsorship. This is because of a project that I did in January. that didn't actually go live on my channel. It went live on the brand's platforms. So you guys didn't see anything, or maybe you see it if you follow them, but that's where that came from. So I am so incredibly grateful for that. Like, my income goal for the month is $5,000. So to earn that from one single source is crazy, and I'm so thankful. So honestly, I'm looking right at you. You who watches my videos, who comments, who supports, who plays them in the background, you mean the world to me. Thank you. Thank you for your support. And the last one was the admin contract. This one kind of took a hit this month. I expected about $500, ended up only doing $285. I also should mention that my copywriting and the admin, remember, better late than never. I actually haven't sent out the invoices yet, so that money hasn't actually touched my account, but because I do the invoice, I know exactly how much is gonna come in, so I included it in here. Anyways, all of that to say, I ended up making $9,721 this month, which, like I said, is more money than I've ever made in my life in a month, which is crazy, and I'm so thankful for it. I almost didn't want to say this on camera, and the first time that I filmed this video, I got really weird about it because I don't know, there's something about me that feels like it's easier to share failures and to share like I don't know, than to share good news. And it's because I struggle so much with comparison that I don't want anyone who watches my videos to compare themselves. But going back to that abundance mindset, what I've learned and what I've always heard is like, when you can be happy for someone else's success, it leaves room to invite success into your own life. So I used to watch budgeting videos, and I would see someone who works at Google and makes, you know, 120 grand a year, and I would feel envious. But if I can watch their video and feel happy for them and feel happy for their salary and for their success, I can invite success into my own life. And that sounds very wishy-washy, but I genuinely mean it. I do. Okay, let's wrap this video up with looking forward. So I'm reading off the screen, but looking forward into March, first things first, I'm cutting back on my day-to-day spending because February was a higher spending month. I'm anticipating a lot of expenses related to the move and to the apartment. Furniture is expensive. We're looking at making some changes. I just want to cut back on like things like coffee and things like dining out and save that money for making my new house feel like a home. I also have two like medical things coming up this month that, because I don't have insurance as a self-employed person, going to the podiatrist and going to the dentist are not covered by, like, you know, they're not covered by government health insurance, so they come out of pocket. So I'm anticipating two big expenses there. So that's why I'm cutting back a little bit. The second thing I wrote was just sticking to my cash envelopes because I love them and they keep me in line. Number 3 is not letting having a higher earning month influence me. I don't want to say, oh my God, look at all this money I made, like, let's go shopping. I really just want to like be chill, be calm. I also know that next month is probably not, well, isn't going to look like that. So why would I go spend all of that progress that I made knowing that it's gonna come back down next month? So I'm gonna put it in savings, and that's gonna be great. Number 4 is I have to prep for my taxes. I am terrified. I am terrified of taxes. I hate them, but March is tax time. March, April. And number 5, I wrote keep up the good work. Honestly, I've been working really hard both on the earning more side and on the managing my spending side. I feel like so many people talk about getting their finances in order just in the view of like saving money, do a no spend, like, you know, only buy thrifted clothes, only eat beans and rice. And then there's some people who only talk about the earning more, but I feel like getting your finances in order is really finding that perfect synergy of both. So finding that synergy of spending on the things that make you happy, earning more, doing work, and doing things that make you happy. I think that is when you're gonna find that perfect balance for yourself financially. I feel like I'm on track to doing that, and it's an amazing, amazing feeling. And I think that's how you keep it sustainable, right? I find doing a no spend one month leads me to spend way more the next, and I find working way too hard just to make money makes me burn out, and then I do nothing the next week or the next month. So we wanna keep it sustainable. We wanna find that synergy. I love that word. And that's that. This was so much fun. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and talking about money. I will see you in my next video. There is so much good content coming up on my channel, moving stuff, vlogs, more money talks to look forward to. So please subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and I will shut up and see you next time. Bye.